Ignition sequence start.
And we are live with the Primas in 5,
4,
3,
2,
1. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Primas podcast. This is your favorite Prima, did I say that correctly? Favorite? When I get nervous, because my first language was Spanish, it's very embarrassing. Like I talk different. It's like, why do I do that? Anyways, hey, so I'm here with my prima Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey Cindy, how's it going? I miss you and I can't wait to see you soon.
I know we haven't seen each other in 2 weeks.
Like a month. It's been like a month.
It's been 2 weeks. Is it December now?
Yeah, we're December.
Anyway, that's crazy. I thought we were like in November still. Anyways, so today's podcast is going to be about the new side hustle wave. And I have two very special guests with me that I met through when I was trying to develop my side hustle, and we were taking business classes. So we'll get into all those details, but I wanted to introduce them real quick and tell them thank you so much for sharing your time. So Maria, who has a food business, and Richie, who has also a catering business. You guys can say, yeah.
Hello.
I know that part's always awkward. Maria, you did really good, right, Jess? For the first time, she's like, hey, she just jumped into it. We've been working on our intro. I feel like we finally got it down, and we're about to end this first part, And we're like, we feel confident after 20 episodes.
Yeah.
So you're a natural. But anyway, yeah. I wanted to talk about side hustles. This isn't like how to start your own side hustle. This is about these two really cool people that I met during a business class that have families and they're married and they have more than one child. Like I say that like in admiration that they're handling so much at home and responsibility wise, and they have to, make continuous money. But then they also decided to step outside of their comfort zones and engage in a side hustle, and it's just cool to have met them, and I really like your stories. I know I don't know them fully, so that's why I wanted to do this episode, to see to talk about what your side hustles are, your whys, like why you decide to invest extra of your time and resources into a side hustle. So yeah,
Let's chop it up. I'm super excited. You guys did come on, so thank you. When my cousin mentioned both of you, she said both of your personalities remind her of people from LA. So I was already sold. That's all she had to say for me to like, okay, Prima, like I don't need to hear anything else about them. So let's get to know you guys.
Yeah, that's cute that you mentioned that, because it's been really hard for me, and Maria knows this. Me and Maria have hung out a few times. It's been really hard for me to form like real authentic relationships out here in Colorado. And so all of my friends and my network is in LA, and it's unfortunate because I don't live out there, and but you two people are somewhat your energy, and Maria's a Denver native, so that gives her more pointers because
Broncos.
Maria, don't start that problem, please.
You did that on purpose, didn't you, Maria? We're not even talking about that. And there you go. Cindy told you some stuff about me, huh? The Raider game? Did you see that episode? Okay.
I'm just a proud native.
All right.
She's just a hardcore Denver native. So, but she's so cool. Like, you're so, like, anyway, I just really appreciate you guys. And yeah, you remind me from my friends back home. Like, what's up? Like super chill, yeah. Anyways. So yeah.
Well, I'm excited. Thank you for inviting me. I mean, this is something I've never done before, so I'm excited. And I'm excited to share my story to help others.
Yes. So good. I'm glad that you said that, because my first question is, what is your side hustle? Like, share with us, what's your business idea? What have you worked on? The concept. And I'll start with myself real quick, just to kind of start us off. My side hustle was that I'm still doing it very randomly, and I'll get into the details a little bit later. But once COVID hit, my side hustle got shattered. And, you know, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I feel like it's a part of business. And so I'm still very excited. I'm still very motivated to continue something, but I'm going to be honest. I was doing personal chef and I was meal prepping for people, and I don't know if I want to continue in that route, but it was a beautiful learning experience that is now I feel ready to move on to like the next phase and trying to develop some type of business concept around like wellness and family engagement and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my whole spiel on what my business is. Richie, do you want to start?
Yeah. So I do catering. Um, the reason I started that was, well, I guess I'll just say I'm doing catering for now, and you know, I have the same issue with you, where the you know, the virus and everything, the COVID, you know, brought down a lot of my work. So what I'm trying to do now is I actually bought a hot dog cart. I'm making it into a taco cart, and you know, I'm going that route for now. I've been seeing a lot of restaurants get food trucks, so like, well, why can't I? You know, so that's the route I'm taking right now. I'm just getting all the paperwork ready, all the licenses. It's just hard because the city's closed and they're closing again, so it's just really hard. So it's just taking me a lot longer than it should. But once I get it going, um, I'll just start doing that for now.
Awesome.
That's
And
cool.
Richie, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been doing the catering business?
Well, actually, I started a year ago.
A year
It's been
ago.
about a year and 4 months, something like that. Not too long.
Okay, awesome. And then that's aside from your regular job?
Yeah, I do that. And actually, I spoke with my boss about that when I started the company. And he actually helps me out a lot with it. If I need a day off to cater, he'll give me the day off. He actually bought me some equipment, so I'm, you know, really happy with that. You know, my schedule's from 2 in the morning to noon, so I have a lot of time to cater after work or, you know, weekends, things like that. So it's been helping me out a lot.
Oh, awesome. Maria?
That's cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Maria, what is your side hustle?
So my side hustle. I decided that I wanted to start a food truck because I fell in love with gorditas, and I'm like, this is like something that I could see myself like making and doing, and I wanted to pursue another, like I wanted to work for myself, and I was in the healthcare field, and I was just like done. So I pretty much was like, all right, I want this dream of working for myself. I'm going to take gorditas and I'm going to make it work. And I wanted to start a food truck, and I had no idea. Like, I've never cooked for large masses of people. I'm not a chef. I know nothing about the food business. And I just, it was like a calling because my sister was like, oh, you should check out this class, you know, at mi casa. It's called La Receta. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna look into it, and so I can learn about starting a business. But that's my side hustle, is a food truck selling gorditas.
Yay, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. So you were sort of getting into like why, and you said because you didn't want to work for anybody else. And
Yes.
so I just wanna ask a little bit more on the why. Like Richie, I know you didn't cover on that, so I want you to do it. And I just wanna say my why real quick is the reason why I did it was the same, is because it's very even though I do work for others, I always have, because even if I have a side hustle, like I still have to bring in consistent income. But I don't like working for others, and I feel like I can do my own thing. And so I got to put my mouth where my money is.
Mhm.
Is that how you say it? Really? Oh, that's cool. I've been saying it the other way then. Anyway. So yeah, so I was like, okay, cool. Like, then do it, right? Like, and so I started really, really, I mean, everybody used to tell me, I started to take random ass jobs. Like I did, DoorDash until my car like broke down.
No, it's been broken.
Jessica hates the Black Pearl. Anyway, but she's doing really well, and I just got some brand new tires for it, so it's not gonna slide in the snow. Yeah. Keep hating on the black girl. Anyway, so yeah, and then I also did Panera. I was working at Panera a lot, like during the week while my daughter was either at school or with her dad. Like all of that time, I was like, let me work and get some hours, and then on the weekend I was meal prepping. But it was pretty intense. I was really tired, but it made me happy to know that I was kind of like doing my own thing, even though I was working at Panera for somebody else. Like I chose that, you know what I mean? I could have chose to go into another. I mean, it wasn't paying that much, so I could have chose to go to, to do any other little side job. So, Richie, why and now it's really cool that you're already like, well, that the catering thing is slow right now, so I'm gonna do like a taco truck. Like you're already thinking next steps, right? And so that's really cool. I think you're probably the one that's been a little bit more out of the three of us longer in the planning stage, because I remember even in the cooking class you were like, oh yeah, I already did this and that, and I'm like, oh snap, I have no idea what they're talking about. And so what motivates you to say like, well, I'm going to invest time and effort outside of everything that I have going on? Where does that come from? What's your motivation?
Well, just like everybody else, I want to be financially independent, work for myself. Like you said, I don't like working for other people. If I go work for someone 40, 50 hours a week, I can come home and put that 40, 50 hours into my business. Why not? So me, the reason I started was I knew a guy who had a friend who did events, and he told me make me a menu. And I've been cooking since I was about 10 years old. I didn't go to chef, no culinary school or anything like that. So it's all home based. Just doing it at home. I did it because I needed to. It was either learn how to cook or starve. So I did that. And once I started looking into making this guy the menu, I was like, well, what would it take me to, start the business? And so I just ended up doing it. So that's why when I went to La Receta, in mi casa, I already had everything down. I had my menu. I had, my planned out. I had everything planned out. So yeah, I just want to be financially independent, show my kids that, their dad a high school dropout who, had a kid at 16 years old can run a business and can do something with his life, because before I was out, running with gangs and hoodlums and all kinds of stuff. And, I settled down with, my wife, been together for about 16 years. So I want to show them and show myself that I can become something, better than what I was.
It's just like what me and Cindy are always talking about. Like we need to get out of our comfort zone, like Richie, it just reminds me your story of like when I was growing up, my dad would always say, and I've been working since I was 16, ever since I had a 8 to 5 job, which was good money, I wasn't happy. And I think that's my motivation is like, well, I don't want to just deal with it. Or every day, I like before I had my daughter, I would go to happy hour to be like, okay, like I need a drink. I need to like get my mindset out of that. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that because money doesn't motivate me, right? Like I want to like be happy ultimately, and working for someone else also, even though kudos to all of you who cook, because I do not know how to cook. And like, babe, if you can chime in or comment here, one time I made carrot cake and it tastes like sausages.
Ooh.
That sounds like, okay. So kudos to you guys for doing something you love and passion, right? Like that's what motivates us to step outside of our comfort zone and take that risk. And if we fail, that's what we want to talk about. It's okay to fail. But as long as we're moving forward and stepping off the ledge a little bit to alter our foundation, right? Because we don't want to conform. We don't want to just be comfortable like for the next 50 years, and we're living a lot longer. And I'm 30 and I'm barely pursuing my happiness. You know what I mean? As cheesy as that sound, I think that's like a Kid Cudi song.
The Pursuit of Happiness. It's a Will Smith movie.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
It's a great movie. Yeah, see, I enjoy cooking. I cook every day. I cook for my wife. I cook for my kids. My wife hates cooking, so I step in and I do the cooking. My my middle child actually told me she wants to learn how to cook. So I didn't have no one to teach me. I had to learn by myself. So I tell her, I cook every day. Just come to the stove, ask what you want to ask, or just be here. And sometimes I let her cook what I'm making, and just so she can get that practice.
That's
Yeah,
really
I
good.
was the opposite. I hate to say this, but I grew up with my dad always. My dad raised me, and he always cooked for me. And um, his mom always cooked in the house, and he learned from my grandma, and he came from a family that didn't, say that they loved each other or showed affection. But he's like, I felt like my mom showed her love through her cooking. Like you could just feel that. And same with my dad. Like, we didn't sit out a traditional table and have dinner together. He's watching TV, he cooked this meal for me, but I felt so comforted and loved through that. But I also didn't learn necessarily how to cook. Like he did show me, and I didn't start cooking until later on, and until I had to cook for my kids. So starting this hustle, I had to learn a lot of things, prepping and all of those things. But that's what I want people to taste in my food is the love. So anyway, that's just
That made me teary-eyed because me and my mom, I don't know if anyone here who has listened thus far knows that I have like childhood trauma issues with my mom and my dad, mommy and daddy issues. But that's very cool that you said that because my mom, like we struggle every day, and we're always trying, but she makes a lot of food and I never made that connection. So that like got me teary-eyed because I'm like, damn, she cooks amazing. As a matter of fact, the reason why my business even did go well was because she was on the back end. I don't know how to cook that well. I make like very regular food. My mom, she knows how to make a lot of stuff, and she's a natural. She's like, I don't
yeah.
like when I would tell her, like, tell me, she's like, you gotta watch because I didn't learn like that. Like you were saying, Richie, like she's like everything is kind of like
There's no
she's not
recipe.
even, there's no recipes, and I'm like, which is fine, but I'm not that skilled, is what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I don't really know how to cook like that. But anyway, um, Jess, you were saying earlier, like some of the downfalls. You were talking about something like that, and I wanted to ask you guys, what like stepping outside of your comfort zone. This isn't so much just about this is our stories about how we started our side hustles, but if that's not your interest, like if you found your dream 9 to 5, or if you found a loophole in the system that makes you happy and you're comfortable, not comfortable, I don't like using that word, but like if you're like, I'm good and I have goals and I'm happy at home and I'm handling my business, um that's great, right? Side hustles aren't for everybody, but I know a lot of people are jumping on it right now because there's a lot of like convenience in business right now, like Lyft, Uber, DoorDash, I was talking about earlier. Car washes, even if they're $7 or 10 or 14, that's a convenience business. Like anyone can do that, but you're paying so that someone just does it for you, right? Or dog walking, house cleaning. These are all, even Grease Monkey. Like I take my car to Grease Monkey, but like my brother always is like, you can save all that money if you just YouTube how to change your own oil. And I'm like, I don't want to. So I'll give someone the money to do it for, like, I'm paying for that convenience. So, anyway, I'm saying all of that to say, I want to talk about some of like the hard stuff that we've hit, but knowing that we're still so driven and motivated to like, well, that was a hit and there's always going to be hits, but like no one ever talks about that, So I want to talk about like what have been some challenges that you guys have faced, even if it's not directly related to the side hustle, but like, something that has to do with it.
Well, for me, the COVID, I had jobs lined up, weddings, just catering events, and um, when this came, it just stopped everything. I mean, yeah, some people still had a few of them, during the pandemic, but it wasn't the same. So that really affected us a lot. So I got into kind of like this depression state, I want to say, where I kept asking myself, well, what's wrong with my food? How come nobody wants to buy it? How come nobody wants my food? And I actually spoke with someone from La Receta, who was with us also. She does cakes. I'll celebrate the cake, Juanita, and she told me the same thing is going on with her. So she was asking herself the same thing, like, what's going on with my cakes? Are they not good? And so that made me realize it's not us. It's a pandemic that's going on. So one thing we actually did right now, a couple months ago, is we did a charity for immigration. We're really big into that. So what we did is we sold some of our food, and all the profit that we got, we gave them to people who are trying to become resident citizens. Got lawyer fees, things like that. So that keeps me a little busy. Puts my name out there a little bit too. And we love to help people out. Whenever we can. We met a lot of other groups that, um, you know, this group called Wall of Moms Denver. They help out the homeless. They help out with a lot of things. So we told them, we'll help you out with whatever we can. Just to keep cooking for large groups. Get our name out there a little more, and just the hardships that come with it. My one of my biggest issues was the financial stuff. So when I did it, I actually had an event here at the house, and Cindy, you came, and all I had was that money from my check. So I bought all the food with that, like everything, and then we did that a couple of times, and from then on, we just started picking up, and slowly but surely, and like I said, we've been doing it for about almost a year and a half now, I want to say, and we just gotta expand more. But yeah, there is a lot of hardship to it, but you just gotta get through it.
Wow, that's inspiring. That you guys, even on top of that, you're still giving back, which is good for your karma. It's gonna come back to you, and not also like you. One thing you mentioned was like you, even just to continue to do it, huh? Like you're not even thinking of the money you're gonna make, just to do it. I feel is there's so much power in that, like right? Like, cause I've had right now, every once in a while, I'll get a client. Ever since COVID hit, it's been rough, which, like I said, that's fine. That happens. Like, it happened to a lot of people. And so I'll get like random, orders here and there, but it's not the same. It's not the same anything, huh? Like the rhythm, like the stress, which the stress is real, but like it motivates you. It's like that you're making money off of your creations. And so when you said that, it reminded me of like I haven't had to cook for I had 8 clients at one point that I was meal prepping for in 2 days, just their whole, week. I mean, getting right after Panera, because I used to open Panera on the weekends and then come home, and I mean, we had to cook really quickly to get their orders out. And it's meal prep, so they're going to keep it for the whole week. It had to be fresh. We couldn't do anything, like anything in advance. So anyway, Maria, sorry, I went on a rant. Have there been any challenges, or like can you share with us some of the challenges you have faced, but that you're still very much like it is what it is? On to the
Yeah,
next.
I've definitely had a huge challenge or challenges. I was supposed to open. First, the challenge was finding a food truck. Like I had the business, I learned the business, that was fine, but I didn't have a truck. I couldn't find one. The business was booming. Everybody was trying to find a food truck, so trying to get that hurdle was a big thing. And then I finally found one, and I was supposed to open in March of this year. I had everything, like the truck was done, everything was, going great. And I was supposed to go to the DMV and get my title in my name. And then the pandemic hit, and then the DMV shut down and all this stuff.
Oh man.
But then I later learned that my fabricator, he never put the title in his name, and it kind of messed everything up. And I have been jumping through hurdles and flying places and contacting original owners of this truck, because it turned out that my fabricator is like the biggest scam artist in Denver. He was on the news, and he's been scamming people, for a while now. And so I don't have a title to my truck. I already had an artist start painting on it. It's finished. I put a lot of money into it, but I don't own the truck. And because I don't own the truck, I can't get a business license. So I have to find a new truck.
Oh.
Well,
I have
Maria,
to
sorry.
find an entirely new truck. And right now everything's closed. So I'm just kind of like thinking, one, what did I do wrong? I should have researched, my fabricator. I should have done more, you know, to look into it, but I was excited. My friend got a truck, he got a finished product, like everything, no complaints. I just jumped the gun and I was just too excited. And so I look back and there's a lot of mistakes that I did make. And it was all a learning, thing that now in the future, I definitely won't make those mistakes. I also learned that you can't rely on other people of your business. You have to take control of your business and not rely on family, friends. I hate to say that, but this was my business and I should have taken care of everything. So I'm not gonna say I wasn't down. I got a little depressed and I'm kind of building myself back up. I got to start cooking again. I got to start, making my gorditas and tasting them and getting back into that passion. And I'm finding that, I'm working on a lot of little things that I think will help me get inspired again. But I'm not going to give up because I have a truck and equipment and I've got a website and I've got all of these things that are there. I have a business. I just kind of, the odds and ends aren't quite all together. So, I'll, 2021 is my year.
Oh man,
I
your guys'
know.
stories are so intense. This is what I'm talking about. That's why I was like, man, these people, I don't know how you guys do it. Because it's just me and my daughter. And just to manage me and my daughter and add anything, and I'm like a super loner. I don't have a life. I sacrificed it to Illuminati. I'm like, I get it. I'm just fine. But like, I'm like, I'll do everything. I'll discipline myself. I'll stay on top. Like I'll read every day. Like I'll do everything it takes. And I find myself not in a bad mood, but like very emotional half of the month, which is, it is around that time of the month, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm about this life. So like how you guys doubted yourselves, like I feel like we go through those waves and so to hear that you guys have too, and even like crazier, that it's like it's refreshing, it's helpful because yeah, I was doing really, really well and everything came crashing down literally like the week after everything hit. And I'm like, fuck, like what am I gonna do financially? And so yeah, so thank you so much for sharing your stories. I'm still I'm still kind of trying to figure out if I want to go in another direction because I don't know if I necessarily want to continue doing meal prep. But so yeah, my business was going really well for about a year and a half as well, maybe 2 years. I mean, when I say well, I it was going I mean, it was sustaining us plus, right? Like I had extra money and I'm just like, oh, this feels amazing. I was like on cloud nine, And once once the pandemic hit, yeah, I didn't ever question my food abilities because like I said, I don't think I can cook that well. It was more of like the convenience of like pay me to make your meal prep so that you don't go out to get lunch and eat other stuff, right? Like it was more of like a healthy thing. And so it sort of fell on my lap. Like I asked one of my mentors one time to see if I had priced my food correctly. And she was a math professor and she was just looking at it. She's like, can you do this for my family? And I was like, okay, like, sure, like I'll meal prep for your family, whatever. But I mean, a personal chef is costly. And I wasn't even charging like that because I'm like, I'm not even a person. What? Like I just know how to meal prep. And so, yeah, so like they were paying for that convenience and they were getting super quality products. So I was able to charge adequately. I mean, I was, like I said, I was making decent money. And so once the pandemic hit, I was like, now I got to think of another strategy, but I'm not giving up. Like working at Panera, I was cleaning houses at one point. offices, toilets. People would be like, why are you doing this? You have a college degree. And it's like, because I rather, you know what I mean? Do like easy little jobs that I can get paid for to still create stuff during my job. Like I do a lot of podcast stuff while I'm at work, and I'm getting paid for that. Like I'm not, no one's in the, no one's really out in buildings or anything. So like I don't have anything to do. And so I'm using that time. I'm also looking to get back into like a regular job, like that pays a little bit more so that I can take risk again. Because like you guys said, and I think it's a really good idea that you guys continue to share your food. Like, and I never had a catering type mentality. I don't know how to cook in mass. Like I said, I barely know how to do what I do. And that was because I had a lot of help from my mom. In regards to prepping, she had a lot of stuff prepped. So that was like, oh my God, you guys you did your own prepping. You do your own prepping. So yeah, sorry. I don't know where I was going with that, but just to say that you guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing your story with us. So next question. I wanted to say, what's your big picture goal? I wanted to ask, sorry, what your big picture goal is. I know right now we're not in an ideal economic situation because of what's going on, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Like if your vision is set, if it's something inside, it's a drive, which from you guys it seems that way because you've been like, damn, that hurdle sucked. Let me do this now. Damn, that sucked. Let me do this now. And that's what you have to do. You learn so much from your mistakes, and people are afraid to make mistakes or they're afraid to talk about it. And that's why I think this episode was important, is to say like it's very scary, but it's worth it. So do you guys want to share like big picture goals, like what your maybe 5-10 year plan is ideally, but let's put it out to the universe so that it can speak into existence.
Well, for me, I'm kind of debating between a restaurant or just expand the catering. I've always wanted a restaurant, but actually I got into seeing what it takes and just really time consuming. I enjoy catering just because you cook the food, you take it, you serve it, and obviously you clean it up, go back, and you don't have to be there all day. It's 2 hours, and you can make more than what you're doing at a restaurant. So I think expanding the catering company, expanding my menu. Right now, I started off with just Mexican food. I kind of expanded a little bit to Latin American food. So that's what I want to do. I want to be able to cook more items from more Latin American, Nicaragua, Salvador, things like that, Central America. That's my main goal. I believe right now is just to expand it. That's why I also got, like I said, I got the little taco cart, so I could do taquizas, which are really popular around here, and so I could take that to parties, little events. That way, I can just serve tacos out of that, but also have my Latin American menu. Like I said, just expand the company and expand my menu and just get my name out there.
It's a great idea. Every time I visit Cindy, I'm like, there's no good Selby food out there. And I love Selby food and like breakfast. So that's good. Do a little something different, because everyone just thinks like, oh, tacos or burritos. But it's like, there's so much more other food out there from different, you know what I mean? Different countries that I don't think Denver people really know. Because I'm like, Prima, where do we go for this? She's like, well, we really don't have that out here.
Yeah, Los Angeles has a variety of people. So, and I mean, obviously you got Tijuana right there crossing, so it's not that far.
It's a gem of food. I didn't know that until I moved out here. I'm like, when people like, where can we go for this? And I'm like, no, we're just gonna cook from home. We're healthy now. Now we meal prep. When you come to this house, you got chicken and veggies. That's all you get. No, but like, but your food is really good, Richie. He had like that thing that he said where he was kind of like, showing people his food or whatever. It is really good. It is very like, it's better. I think if you did a restaurant, which I know you're like, that's a lot, it would hit like a small little, like in LA, like those small little, like where it just gets crazy and there's lines, that would hit because your food is really good. And so is yours, Maria.
Thank you.
And I say this because the next thing I want to talk about. Wait a minute. No, I don't, because I haven't asked you, Maria. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Maria.
We're
I got
going with the
excited.
flow.
Yeah.
Well, I was just
No,
saying because
sometimes
the
we
class,
need a check, Cindy. Sometimes we need a checker. Okay, guys. I forgot to warn you guys.
I know, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
weird.
And then my daughter's right here, and I'm just like, but anyway, I had your food in the Mi Casa Resource Center, which we're gonna talk about in a little bit. But it's a really cool program, and they had us cook for the class. We'll get into that, but that was, I tasted your food, and I'm like, you're gonna make it from a true Mexican. Like, just my mom, she's the best cook ever. She's like a true, like, she knows how to get down, you know. So I'm like, yes.
Maria, are your aspirations to own your own restaurant? Is that what you want to do?
Tell us
Like
your
5,
goal.
10-year plan?
Well, I initially wanted a restaurant, yes. And I had, that was my first idea, and my dad, I always go to my dad, and he's like, well, you need to build some capital first, how about a food truck? So I'm like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Um, I wanna. I'm not exactly sure, but I do want a restaurant. I want like a little hole in the wall, maybe bar restaurant kind of thing. My theme is more like it's gorditas, which I learned from my mother-in-law, and she's from Juarez. I grew up here in Denver. My family's from Denver, so we're kind of like we don't have the traditional Mexican food from Mexico. But my grandma, I feel like our food is like Tex-Mex, but I don't really want to say that, or like Southwestern. But we also have our own like green chili. Everybody's like, I've never had green chili. What is that? And I'm like,
That's
it's a Colorado thing, like a New Mexico kind of thing. But we have our I'm a proud native, so we have our own green chili, not from, it probably originated from New Mexico, but we kind of made our own. So I kind of want to bring those flavors into my food, into the gorditas. And so I just am playing with different like tastes and things, but yeah, I foresee myself having a restaurant.
That's awesome. That's so true about the green chili. I remember going out there
Yeah.
for the first time, and
Why do I
Cindy
always
was like,
forget that?
let's go try that. And I'm like, okay. And then when I tried, I'm like, what is this?
What
I was
is
like,
this
you eat it. And I
creation?
shoved it in her face.
You know, a lot of I got into green chili. I like Chubby, Santiago's.
I think it was Chubby's we went to. Is that like a fast foodish one?
I
Kind of,
think
yeah.
so. But I like that
Yeah,
type of
I
food.
think we
And
tried
it is
that one.
very
Yeah.
Colorado.
It is.
It's
love
very
it.
Colorado. Mhm.
I definitely wouldn't call it Mexican, but it is the fusion, obviously. So I think it's cool. I'm not hating, because it is good. I always forget about green chili. It is good.
You got the smothered fries from Chubby's?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Not carne asada fries. It's
Told me
No,
over. No,
those are
yeah.
the
No, those.
smothered
That's a
fries.
legit one.
Yeah, if
And
you go to
in my
Denver, you gotta
mind-
try those.
You guys read my mind, because in my mind, carne asada fries are big out here. And then, so
Yeah.
I thought that's what Cindy was going to show me, but like a better version. And I was
There's
not
no
very
better
happy.
version.
I was like, what is this?
I had to
But
mentally
it's
prepare
different.
people, like, don't think don't think
Yeah.
about food from LA. This is completely, they did something else over here.
Yeah.
Because then people compare it. You're like, it's like, you're not gonna like it if you compare it. It's two different worlds. So good for you. That's delicious.
A little fact, did you guys know you guys just got your first In-N-Out in Colorado?
Yeah.
It was
we heard.
insane.
I've been hearing people getting killed.
I heard the lines are like 4 hours long. I'm like, what?
People have a lot of time, because I'm like, why? I don't know. I could never do something like that for a food. That it's like, just let it die down, and it'll turn into a regular fast food place.
I know.
I'd rather have a King Taco over here than In-N-Out.
Oh,
I do not like King Tacos.
No.
Cindy loves it. I know.
It's their sopes
They
is
got
what
their meat
it
right.
is.
Just their meat. Their
Maybe
beef?
they're
Oh.
horchata. That's it.
Horchata.
I'm just kidding. That's it. I know a lot of people who go crazy for like King Taco. I don't get it.
I think it's a little different, especially that line that they add on their carne asada while it's cooking. You can taste it, so I like it. I never had it until we went and visit, and then like 2 years ago, and I tried it for the first time. I was like, wow, this is good. It's not like great, but it's
Yeah.
good.
I've never had a king taco, so can't say.
You're not missing much, Maria. Not just
Maria, we got to go to LA one of these days so I can show you around.
Yes, I've been to LA, just haven't been in the good parts. Been to the boring parts, I would say.
Yeah, I'll take you to the good parts. Okay, so I wanted to ask, or just do you want to ask? Because this was your question.
Oh yeah, Cindy, let me have one question, guys. See what I mean? She's like, you can ask this question, but I was like, but I
you can ask a boring question. No.
Okay. So my question for all of you guys would be, what is the best resource that has helped you along the way?
Well, I would have to say it was Mikasa. Like, I seriously didn't know how to build a business, and this class was geared towards mobile food, and they broke it down in food costing and things I just had no idea to think of. And it's like, okay, cool. I can, start, I could cook, for people, but they kind of fine tuned the business aspect of it and took it in steps. And one of the cool things is that they had mentors that were already in the food business, and they would come and teach you different tricks and things of like food storage and how to make your food go a little longer. And those are just things where I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. Also, I think I should have relied on my classmates a little more. Like, I would look at Cindy and Ricardo, and they would be doing their thing, and I'm over here like struggling, and I should have reached out. I should have communicated, because they were doing things, and maybe just talking, and hey, how, who are you talking to, or how, something. But I think we get into this like mode where it's like, oh, I'm not doing the same thing they're doing, and they're out there doing their thing, and I need to get on their level. But we should just all be a community and help each other. And I thank you, Cindy, and you, Jessica, for kind of bringing me down, and I should reach out. But it's Mikasa was a great resource, to say the least.
You guys all met there, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I want to say one quick thing. Like, yes, it's a huge resource. This is the second time I took. Well, the first time it was a business class, and it was in Spanish. It was really cool, but that's when I got pregnant, so I didn't end it. But then, like a few years later, I did this one. But one thing that I do have to say, and I don't know if it was the instructor's style, but like she didn't let us be community. Like she treated the class like anytime someone would talk, like like, and there was like 10 of us. It's like, bro, we're like, this is a Monday night situation. Like, we still got to go home and deal with the family. Like, chill. Like, it's not that serious. And she wouldn't really let us. But like I said, maybe it's just not her style. She's more traditional, where it's just like sit here and listen to what I'm gonna say. Because I think it would have been very helpful, like Maria said, like even for me, because we all are thinking that. I was looking around like I don't know what I'm doing, and I thought everyone did. So everyone's feeling this way, and it's just like, imagine how cool and powerful it would be if we just shared that. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, you guys. Like, this is hard on my family. This is hard. Like, is this even gonna work, right? Like, so anyway, yeah, I wanted to say that about we need to be more community, because I've tried to make a lot of different connections out here, and it's been impossible. But we're not giving up. I think if you keep putting out that vibe, like, it's hard out here, and so even if you're not doing a side hustle, you can still build community. Richie.
Yeah, Mikasa was a great resource, like Maria said. Because even before, when I was barely starting, my brother's the one who actually encouraged me to start the business. He would always tell me, your food is great, especially my meat. He always told me, you need to start selling this, and he told me for a couple of years. So what I did is I actually went around and asked, food truck owners or just people who were doing catering, or restaurant owners, and they never wanted to say nothing. I would ask them, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And they saw me as competition, so they never, they never wanted to give me their secrets, I guess, nothing like that. I remember I asked this lady, hey, what do you put in your carne asada? Because it tastes a bit different. and she just stared at me. So I was like, okay, I'll just walk away then. So people don't. A lot of people don't want to help you out, and you know, YouTube is a great resource, but it doesn't have videos of catering, how to start your catering. It doesn't have nothing like that, and that's obviously that's what I was looking for. I found some, food, how to start a food truck business, how to open a restaurant, but nothing really on catering, and so I had to do a lot of research on my own. But like I said, I already had my menu, well, kind of my menu, I guess, because I updated it. I had that menu. I already had my license and all the basic necessities that you needed to get into La Receta Pro, Mi Casa. So I kind of knew a little bit what I was doing, and what they helped me out a lot was portion, because if it was up to me, I eat a lot, so I'm like, well, if I eat a lot, I know other people will eat a lot. So, but that's not true. Everybody eats different. So that's what they helped me out was portion control, how to price my prices, because I priced my prices were too low, and I thought they were already high, but they're like, nope, this is way too low. Your food is good. You need to price it a bit higher. So they helped me out with that. They helped me out with my logo, even though I changed it already. My website. So those are things I did on my own, but once I got in there, they just gave me a boost. Another thing that helped out a lot was with social media. I didn't have an Instagram before. I just had Facebook, but that was for my personal. But they helped me out with social media. So even now I'm in contact with one of the mentors, a really good guy. He does catering also, and I ask him all the time, hey, I have before I would ask him, I had an event for 100 people. How can I do this or that? How can I portion it? And even now, I think we kind of like bonding and having that friendship. He'll invite me out to like meet somewhere to eat, things like that. And that helped me out a lot too. It's great resources, and it's not just for the food truck or sorry, for food. They have other other classes that you could take, and so I really recommend La Casa. It's a really good place to go.
So and I'm gonna share all that link so that you guys have access. But it's called Mi Casa Resource Center. It's based in Denver, Colorado. They're an amazing program. They like you guys touched on, they help you with your finances and really break down every single penny. That was a huge resource. They set you up with like financial advisors that you can keep in. They have amazing resources, and this is, like I said, the second time I approached them about a business idea, and this time it was about food. And so yeah, I think it's a really cool resource. They have classes in English and Spanish. They give you access to their mini grant program, which if you take their business classes and become a regular student, you get no interest on the mini loans. And like there's just I mean, I can go on forever because like Richie mentioned, we're just talking about the food business program that and it was part 1 because I wasn't able to do part 2, but my car broke down at the time. This was a separate time? I can't believe it.
Yeah, so for part 2, we actually had to cook for, we had judges and everything. So we had to cook for a few people, and I think it was like maybe 40, 50 people, something like that. They came.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we all gave like, I don't know if our best dishes, but I ended up taking one of my special that everybody seems to like. And actually Maria won first place if I have that correct.
Yay.
With that vegan green chili. Speaking of Colorado, that's can't get no more Colorado than that.
Listen. I just cook what I would cook for myself, and everybody browns flour, and I just can't. I have a hard time eating, and I just came up with it. Like I just had an idea, and it didn't require anything, and it just became vegan all on itself. So it just happened. But I can say that that event boosted my confidence like no other. Like I didn't ever think I can do any of that, and I did it. And I had no intentions of winning, but I told myself I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna do it, and I guess I did it. But yeah,
Nice.
that was one thing I was gonna say in it. I forgot, and it might come back to me. I can say that I did get friendship out of this. Meeting Cindy, and I haven't really been able to talk to Ricardo as much, but going to that Mikasa center, they're always reaching out. They did reach out to me in the beginning of COVID, and they asked like, hey, can you make lunch for 7 of us? We just want to help small businesses out. I mean, they're just an incredible resource center just to kind of like keep you going. So I recommend, even if I just started, like I had this idea, and they're like, starting a business, come check it out. And then from there led to one thing to another, and before you know it, I have this food truck that I can't use, but we'll get there.
And
Yeah.
they help you out. Like if you don't have a name, I know some of them did. Some people who didn't have a name or nothing, and they helped them out with that. Help you out how to get your business license and everything that you need. So, like I said, it's a really great program.
Yeah, they really go through every single beginner step. They even break down the classes like beginner, like you're just thinking of something. Then they have financing classes or accounting, and then they have computer, like social media stuff. So they're great. They're, like I said, they do English and Spanish. I'll put all of their information down, and hopefully I can reach out to them to let them know that we did this, because I'm pretty sure they'd be like, "Oh, that's amazing." So anyway, anything that you guys want to close with that to encourage someone that might want to do something that takes risk. It doesn't necessarily have to be a side hustle or even a food business. It could be, just we're doing a lot of risk taking when you do a side hustle, because you're putting yourself out there a lot. A lot of money and time goes into like starting, just to get, like you guys said, like getting people to even just try your food is a big part of it, and that's a lot of upfront investment from our end. So anyway, is there anything that you guys can say to someone that's like, oh, I'm really scared of doing this, but I know that I'll be happier if I could just overcome the fear?
I think if you're thinking about doing something, just go ahead and do it. I struggled a lot to start it, and just little by little, you start getting the equipment that you need. One thing that I did was set my main goal, which was obviously starting the business, and then set little baby steps, but you have to time yourself. So, for example, you want to do a t-shirt business, what do I need to get everything going? And then in 1 month, I want to buy one piece of equipment, in the second month, I want to learn, or watch all the YouTube videos that's out there, or things like that. So you just got to give yourself a time limit, and, just make sure you're doing your baby steps so you can get to your main goal.
I would have to say is that, yeah, if you have a dream, a goal to do it, start somewhere. I had no idea how I was going to pursue this dream, but I started looking into things, and one thing led to the other. And I'm not going to say that at first it was easy. Everything was happening for me, and then boom, I fell flat on my face. And that's going to happen, and it's not going to happen once or twice. If it's really meant to be, it will be. And if you believe in it, it will be. You just have to believe in yourself, and know that you are going to fail sometimes, or you are going to mess up. And you just got to keep going if this is really what you want to pursue in anything. Even if it's like a degree, going to school or whatever, just have to keep going and push yourself, because nobody's going to do it except for you.
Yeah, and also I wanted to add to that. There's always going to be people who are going to tell you don't do it, or who are going to be negative if you tell them what you want to do. I experienced that a lot. I told a couple people, I want to do a Latin American based restaurant where where I have at least 1 or 2 items of food from every single country. And I had people tell me that menu is way too big. People aren't gonna go. So, and I'm actually doing that now with my small catering company. I have, some dishes from Latin America. Like, so I want to expand more, but there's always gonna be those doubters. So just hang out with positive people. Just stay positive. Ignore all the negative people because they're obviously not doing anything, so they want to bring you down with them. So there's always going to be that, just those negative people. But if you got something going on, just go ahead and do it. Just jump right into it.
One thing that I also wanted to mention was that when you start doing these things, like Richie said, a lot of people they're gonna tell you so much, and it's gonna be the people closest to you, right? Because that's the people that know us better. And a lot of people, a lot of people are afraid of taking risks. So if they see someone they care about taking risks, they're like, "Don't do it. You're messing up." They're coming from that place, but it hurts because then no one is on your side. You got to do it on your own, and that's okay. Like everyone thinks I'm crazy. I feel sometimes when I do stuff, and I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Like, oh well, like it's okay if you think you're crazy. Like don't worry about other people's judgment. They're coming at you from a very different. They're scared. They're like, why would you leave a very good paying job when you have a daughter? Like, and I understand that, right? Like I totally get that. I respect that, but I know what I'm doing, like there's a very stronger calling, and we all have that, but sometimes we get jaded by our families, our partners, our environment. And it's just like, don't, you are on your own. Just get that off. You're 100% on your own. Maria mentioned it earlier. Like she learned that she had to take full responsibility of every single aspect. And it's true because you can't put the blame on nobody but yourself. Nobody. If this is your business idea, you can, but it just all the blame goes to you because you're the creator of the whole thing, and you have to be involved in every single act. You just have to.
It's just people coming from that comfort zone. Sorry, people just comfortable where they're at. Like you said, they just have a steady paycheck, so they don't want to take that risk. That's why, like with me, I'm actually getting my daughter who just turned 14 to start her own little business. She loves art, so she's doing soap. So she's gonna be doing designs and all that, and I'm encouraging her, as well as my wife, to get her to actually start it, and that way she can start at a young age, and just stay positive and do what she wants to do. But yeah, just people are always gonna be negative, but you just gotta ignore them.
Yeah, so I love how you guys said that. I think we're all true like entrepreneurs at soul, at heart, because we're just going to always never have that give up mentality, Yeah, we failed and we stumbled along the ways, and but we got back up and tried something else. And I think that's what, I want to show my daughter that just because I'm this old or that time frame, or I tried that and it didn't work, who cares? Just keep moving and pursuing whatever makes you happy.
Can I just say this one thing before we end, is that even, I felt like I had this downfall, in my business, this hiccup. I had two little girls, that are looking at me, and they're like, they seen me kind of go down low, but it's how you pick yourself back up that I think they're always going to remember. And that's what's important to me, to keep going, So it's not always easy, but you got to pay attention to who's watching.
Exactly. Supported snaps. All right.
Yes. Dang, this was cool. I really like this episode. I'm very biased, of course, because this was my idea. I'm just playing. But thank you guys so much for your time. I want to continue to talk about these things, so you guys are invited back if ever you're free again. Just to kind of continue to talk about the journey, because this is where we're at right now, right? Like with the pandemic hitting, but obviously next year is my year too, Maria. That's it. It's done. I'm taking over the world.
Yeah.
But so we have to update people and check out Mi Casa Resource Center. I'm going to add a few resources that we talked about on to the description box. So please share with anyone who is a little afraid of stepping outside of their comfort zone. It's worth it. It's worth it. It is scary, but it's not that scary. Don't worry what people have to say. Do it for yourself. Do it for the people who are watching, and share your gifts with the world, whatever that is. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you, ladies, for this. It was good. It was necessary for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great platform.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time and for sharing your story. I think that's it, right? All right. All right. I was gonna say good night, but we'll put this out on Friday morning, so we can't say that. Don't get that confused. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. Bye.
Bye everyone.